Welcome back everyone, Jake here. In this video, let's talk about a financial product that confuses a lot of people, and that would be reverse mortgages. Maybe once upon a time you were younger and you purchased a home and now you're retired and maybe your income is limited, your expenses are growing, and you're trying to find a way to stay in your home for the rest of your life. And you're seeing these commercials on cable news with that nice man Tom Selleck who's telling you that it's possible to be paid to stay in your home for the rest of your life. How exactly does this work? These commercials are put out by reverse mortgage companies, the most well-known being the American Advisors Group, AAG. This video is definitely not sponsored by them. So how exactly does a reverse mortgage work? Are they a good idea? We're going to cover all that in this video. First thing you need to know is there are qualifications. In order to be eligible for a reverse mortgage, you must be 62 years old. So you must be a senior citizen basically. And this home must be your primary residence, can't be a vacation home or rental property. Additionally, the home has to qualify for an FHA loan. It's the same guidelines. You can Google what they are, but basically any single family home will qualify for an FHA. Additionally, you must have substantial equity in the home. The mortgage doesn't have to be completely paid off, but you must have built substantial equity in the home to cover the costs of the reverse mortgage. Additionally, you must continue to pay the property taxes, homeowner's insurance, HOA fees, and upkeep the home. So it's not a 100% free home that you get to live in for the rest of your life. You still have to cover property taxes, insurance, and fees. So let's do an example, and let's say that right now your home is worth $300,000. Now if your home is completely paid off, it makes the math much simpler, but let's assume that you haven't completely paid off your home and you want to do a reverse mortgage. Let's say that you've built through mortgage payments and house appreciation, you've built $250,000 worth of equity in the home. However, there's $50,000 remaining on the outstanding mortgage on the property. And if you decide you want to go into business with one of these reverse mortgage companies, first thing they're going to do is have you go through a counseling session with someone from the Department of Housing and Urban Development. This is HUD. The reason why is because all of these reverse mortgages are insured through the federal government, and the reverse mortgage company doesn't have the money to give you the loan. They're going to be partnering with a bank or an institution in order to come up with this $300,000 loan. And I think some people don't really understand, but a reverse mortgage is basically a second mortgage on your home if you haven't paid off the first one. How the heck does this work? We'll explain in a second, but the first thing you need to know about reverse mortgages is the interest rate you'll be paying is much higher than a conventional loan. Maybe you would qualify for a regular mortgage at 3 or 4%. When you go with a reverse mortgage, they're going to be charging you 5 or 6%. The reason why is because these are non-recourse loans. Maybe you don't have the income to qualify for a regular mortgage, so they're just going to charge you more. Now, a reverse mortgage is special because there are no monthly payments being made. As long as you're alive and you're staying in the home, you're not making payments on this outstanding loan that was taken out with your home being collateral. So how does this work? Well, the home is going to be sold someday in the future to repay the loan balance. And the loan is not going to be repaid until the home is sold. Now, this is a non-recourse loan because nobody is responsible if there's a loan deficiency at the time of sale of the home. So at some point in the future, when you pass away or move out of the house is sold, the loan is repaid. If the loan taken out is greater than the value of the home is sold for, nobody is responsible for making up that difference. So you can't pass on a debt to a loved one or a child. The reason why is because these loans are insured and the insurance covers the cost that any loss that might incur from the loan. So how much do you get by pulling equity out of the home in a reverse mortgage? This is the reason why people do it. And they're going to calculate this based on your age, the interest rate of the loan, and the value of the property. But usually you can get out between 40 and 60% of the equity in the home. So let's go through the numbers of our example. And the reverse mortgage companies are just basically going to use an amortization schedule calculator to figure out how much of the equity in your home they have to put aside for the interest accumulating on the outstanding loan balance. How does all this work? Well, from our example, this was a $300,000 home, and maybe they assume you're going to stay in the home or stay alive for another 18 years. And remember, we said the interest rate is going to be pretty high, around 5%. So they're going to assume that about $155,000 worth of interest is going to accumulate over these 18 years. And you are going to basically pay that up front by not getting that from the equity remaining in the home. So your home is worth $300,000 and you're only going to get access to $145,000 because almost 50% is probably going to be set aside to make the interest payments on the reverse mortgage. But remember, in our example, we said that your first mortgage wasn't entirely paid off yet. There was still an outstanding loan balance of $50,000. So you're going to have to use money from your reverse mortgage loan to pay off your original mortgage loan. So we're going to subtract from the $155,000 that we're getting the $50,000 that still has to pay off the original loan. So now, how much of the $300,000 worth of value of the home do you have access to? You only have access to $105,000. But you have to remember that the reverse mortgage company is trying to make money. They're going to charge you fees for this service they're providing. And there are a lot of fees. Origination fees, you're the one who's going to be paying the mortgage insurance premium to HUD basically. There's an appraisal fee, monthly account fee, and then of course closing costs for getting the mortgage in the first place. This is probably going to take away another 10 to 20% of the equity that you otherwise would have had from the home. So now we'll go 105,000 subtract 20. You can get access to about $85,000 if you were to sign up for one of these reverse mortgages. So at this point you have to ask yourself, was this your best financial decision? And the immediate benefit is there are no more mortgage payments. If you still had a mortgage payment, it's now gone. You don't have to make it anymore. And as long as you keep this home as your primary residence, you stay alive, you don't sell it, and you keep paying the taxes, homeowner's insurance, and HOA fees, then you can stay in the home for the rest of your life if you want to. But I have to give you a strong warning here that you must keep paying the taxes, the homeowner's insurance, and the HOA fees. If you can't do this and the bank finds out, you will be foreclosed on. They will take your home away from you. Additionally, if you try to sell your home, you can't do that because there's a mortgage outstanding on it and the home has to be sold to pay off the mortgage. Basically, there's nothing to sell on your part. Now, maybe you've heard of the horror stories of people entering into reverse mortgages and not being able to keep their homes. It's because they've been foreclosed on for not paying the property taxes and the other associated fees. So this article, I'll link it down below, is from the Washington Post. More seniors are taking loans against their homes and it's costing them. More than 18% of the reverse mortgage loans taken out from 2009 to 2016 are expected to go into default because of unpaid taxes and insurance, according to a HUD report. So for people who thought this was a good idea, basically 1 in 5 will default on their loans by not paying the insurance and taxes. They'll then be foreclosed on, forced out of the home, and the home will be sold. In general, those just aren't great numbers, so it's something to be mindful of if this is an option you're considering. Now let's go back to that $85,000, the equity in the home you're now able to pull out. What can you do with it? You have several options, and one is just a single lump sum payment, and you can get access to all $85,000 if you want to spend it immediately. You can also defer and have equal payments sent to you each month. You can set up whatever kind of time frame you want to get disbursements of this $85,000. Additionally, you can use it as a line of credits and take money out and basically put money back in to save it for a later date. So if you've made it this far and you're still considering a reverse mortgage, let's just go ahead and highlight some factors that make this a terrible financial product. The first one is you leave your heirs nothing. Now, maybe you don't have any children, so there's no one you're concerned about leaving the value of the home to, but by signing into a reverse mortgage, you're losing almost 60% of it in interest and fees to the reverse mortgage company. That's money that potentially your children will not be getting. Additionally, if there are any other family members living in the home, an adult child, a grandchild, a friend of the family, a sibling, whoever, if the reverse mortgage is in your name and you pass away, everyone else has to vacate the home. The sale of the home will be triggered upon the death of the person who took out the reverse mortgage. Additionally, you've entered into an agreement to remain in this home for the rest of your life. You cannot move. So if you have children or grandchildren that move across the country, you cannot follow and go join them. You can't sell your home because if you leave this home for any reason, it will trigger the sale of it and the repayment of the reverse mortgage. Additionally, that $85,000 you're pulling out in home equity from the reverse mortgage, that's a nice amount of money. But if you were struggling to pay the taxes and insurance and fees and general upkeep of the home to begin with, eventually that money is going to run out. If you live another 15, 20, 30 years, at some point, that 85,000 isn't going to sustain you and you're going to have the problem you originally had in the first place when you decided to enter into a reverse mortgage. So what are some better ideas as an alternative to reverse mortgages? And I'll give you a couple. First one is to cash out refinance your home. Basically, you take out a new 30-year fixed rate mortgage on your home and you start over. So if you have a mortgage currently, it will be readjusted basically to the new value of the home. You can pull out 80% or more potentially if you want. You're going to have a mortgage still, and your mortgage is now going to be higher, but you can pull out all the equity in your home and you're not going to immediately lose 60% of it to the reverse mortgage company or paying an interest. The second option available to you is a home equity line of credit or a home equity loan. Basically, you're using your house as collateral to borrow against the equity from a bank. Now, there is an interest rate associated with this, and this is money you do have to pay back, but if you need cash today, this is a very good option that's better than a reverse mortgage. The next option available to you, I think most people are trying to avoid if they're researching reverse mortgages, and that would be to sell your home, just pull out all the equity that you've built over your lifetime, and then downsize, either into a smaller home or an apartment. This will get you the full value of what you've been paying into as long as you've lived in that home. The last option I can recommend to you is to sell your home to a trusted family member who will then let you pay rent and stay in that home for the rest of your life. How this would work is if you have a child or a sibling that you can sell your home to, they qualify for a mortgage, you then pull out the equity from the sale and then you slowly make monthly payments to cover the mortgage for that individual. If you can make the house cash flow neutral for the person taking out the mortgage, then basically they'll get the home when you pass away. They can either sell it or live in it themselves, and then you can remain in the home and not lose half the value to a reverse mortgage company, and you're building equity for a family member. Okay guys, that was reverse mortgages. If you have any questions or comments or you know something I don't, let me know in a comment down below. If you enjoyed this video or found it helpful, give me a thumbs up. Really helps out with the algorithm. Till the next video, take care.